Hello and welcome back to Ace Academy, where... oh god, things are getting weird on us.
I had no idea you were so popular.
Yuna's bright eyes are dulled with disapproval. I don't know why they like me so much.
Do you know how old those girls are? Creep.
They came on to me! I look around for a friendly face and my gaze lands on Sho. Come on, Sho, buddy, you're with me, right?
I misjudged you.
Oh, for God's sake. I can't tell if he means that in a good or a bad way. And Mayu just watches me silently. I can't tell what she's thinking. Valerie latches onto my arm.
You know, if you wanted a younger girl, you only had to ask.
Yeah, I like them older. Sorry, but, you know, more into the mature types. Valerie drops my arm.
You mean past its prime?
No, I mean more experienced. Valerie blinks and then frowns in silence. Well, this is sufficiently awkward. So, the beach? How about we go swimming? Mayu brightens at the idea.
Yes! Swimming!
She grabs Sho and races towards the water, and Sho stumbles behind her.
Hey, slow down!
Kaori and Valerie glance at each other, then grin and jump to their feet. They speed behind the pair and leap towards the water with glee. Hey, wait for us! Yuna and I follow behind, and when we reach the shore I slowly wade into the sea and enjoy how the water cools my hot skin.
Come on, Yuna! What are you waiting for?
Yuna sticks towards the shore and watches nervously as the water laps at her knees.
That's okay. I'll just stay here.
Can't swim then.
Do you know how to swim?
Yeah.
Sho and Mayu swim over and stand next to Kaori.
What is it then?
Don't worry about it. I'm very happy right here.
I'll be honest, I don't like swimming. I am a perfectly competent swimmer. I wouldn't say I was good or anything like that, but I can stay afloat and get from one end of a pool to another without any problems. But no, I don't like swimming in the ocean either.
Aw, hanging out by yourself is no fun.
Admittedly, it doesn't help that the seas around this country are so bloody freezing cold. But didn't like swimming in the ocean even the last time I was abroad, which granted was about... Christ, I think it was pushing a decade ago now.
The water and I don't really get along well.
Are you scared? Here, you can walk with me.
Mayu stretches out her hand and smiles encouragingly at Yuna.
Well, it's more like...
Yeah!
Yuna plunges face first into the water and disappears below the waves. Yuna! Everyone lunges towards her just as she resurfaces, her back towards us. Yuna, are you okay?
Don't look!
Something floats in front of her, which she snatches out of the water and presses to her chest. Her head's lowered and her shoulders slumped as she struggles to simultaneously hide and retie her bikini top at the same time. Mayu clamps her hand over Sho's eyes.
Don't look.
What? Do you need help putting that back on? That sounded a lot less creepy in my head. I mean, you seem to be having trouble with the knots. I promise I'm not trying to look.
You promise you won't look?
Of course.
I can't seem to get these tied.
She offers me the strings to tie up her back. I tie them into a bow with nimble fingers, careful not to touch her smooth, velvety skin of her back too often. Each accidental brush of my fingers against her skin sends warmth into my cheeks. Done.
Thanks, I've got it from here.
Valerie's nearly doubled over on the beach, her squeals of laughter adding to the commotion. She must have snuck up behind Yuna while we were all distracted and then pushed her in. Kaori stalks back to the beach and stands in front of Valerie.
Why would you do that?
Yuna looked like she could use a little push to get into the water, so I gave her one.
You're kind of a terrible human being, aren't you, Valerie?
I bet you did it because you knew exactly what would happen.
I did not. But I won't lie and say it isn't hilarious.
What if she didn't know how to swim? She could have gotten really hurt.
Please, you're like 6 inches for the... You can't be that far out! Not unless the drop-off on this beach is insanely sharp.
It's right against the beach. completely shallow waters.
Still, it's dangerous because you can't prepare yourself. Cowrie!
A figure with long dark hair leaps onto Carrie's back, holding her in a hug.
Ah!
Carrie windmills her arms trying to catch her balance, but topples into the water.
Hey!
Carrie pushes May off her and wipes the water out of her eyes.
You can't just push people into the water! Why don't you people understand this?
Valerie is clutching her stomach in laughter.
So good.
May just smiles and cocks her head to the side.
It's good to see you too. That's not what I said!
Valerie finally catches her breath and wades over to May.
Nice one.
Thanks. I'm May.
Valerie.
May glances at the rest of us, who've been observing in silence, trying to process the scene. Mayu coughs awkwardly.
I'm Mayu. And this is Sho.
Sho is very obviously trying to process May's ample assets, but at the sound of his name he snaps back to reality.
Right. Hi.
Yuna also seems to be sizing up May.
I'm Yuna.
And I'm Richard. May graces us with a broad smile.
It's nice to meet you all. Cowrie, when did you make so many friends? And now, you're leaving. But I only just met everyone. Don't you have your own friends to hang out with? I am hanging out with my friend. That's not...
A jet of water splashes Carrie's face, and May giggles while Carrie grows more irritated. She flicks her wrist and sends a stream towards May, but May dodges it and it splashes Yuna's chest instead. I knew we were going to get a CG like this at some point. I mean, come on! You know, it had to happen. Yuna glances down at her chest, and narrows her eyes, clearly fed up, and using her whole arm she sends a big wave back towards Carrie. The water misses and catches Valerie, who squeals happily. She sends a small splash back, which catches Mayu on the cheek. Mayu blinks, and Valerie's brow wrinkles in worry, and she opens her mouth to apologise, but instead dodges the splash that Mayu sends back. And before long all the girls are squealing and bouncing around in the water, splashing each other. Sho and I stand off to the side, just watching the glorious view.
Is this not the best thing you've ever seen in your life?
I nod solemnly, but another voice answers.
Yes, yes it is.
As one, Sho and I turn to see Akira, nodding approvingly. When did you get here? He gives me a confused look.
I've been here this whole time.
Sho and I glance at each other and then shrug. I think I've seen May before. She's part of Onibagusha, right?
Yeah.
I remember Carrie's intense reaction when we learned we were matched against Mai's team, but Mai seems to treat her like they're old friends. How did May and Carrie know each other? They seem to have opposite reactions to seeing each other.
Their relationship is strange. They've known each other since childhood, but judging by the way they act towards each other, it's hard to remember that.
The conversation ends. Silence settles in as we continue to watch the splash attacks.
Why aren't we joining in on the fun?
That's a great question.
Sho swims close to the girls and then shoots a stream of water towards Mayu. Mayu yelps in surprise and splashes back when she sees Sho's grin. Akira and I join in after Sho's introduction into the splash war. Video games. The sun kisses the horizon, spilling orange light over the waves. Akira and May left right after the splash war to join their friends. Valerie's lounging on a towel, trying to suck at the last of the dying rays while reading from her Eridair. Why did I pronounce it like that? It's e-reader. Oh, now I feel like a tit. For the record, there should be a hyphen there. Either that or you capitalise E, but hyphen's an easier way of doing it. Yuna sits on the sand, watching the waves lap at her feet. Kara looks thoughtful as she sits in her fold-up chair, tossing and catching an inflatable beach ball. Shu and Mayu are missing. Not sure where they went. The day's winding down. It'll be dark soon. I want to spend a little more time with Yuna. I walk over to Yuna. Hey Yuna, what are you up to? She squints up at me and then smiles.
Watching the fish swim.
When I was little, my family took me on vacation to a beach where the fish would nibble at our toes. I felt like a mermaid swimming while the fish followed me.
So you do know how to swim then? Yuna glances at me with a curious expression.
Of course. Why wouldn't you think so?
You just seemed really nervous about going in the water earlier today. She hugs herself.
Well, obviously I had my reasons for being nervous. But actually, I used to love swimming in the ocean when I was younger. I used to race and win all the time.
Well, how about we race?
I don't know if that's such a good idea.
Ah. Don't be scared. It's okay if you're scared to lose.
I wouldn't lose.
Well, what's holding you back then? Your swimsuit? She seems uneasy. It stayed on for the rest of the time we were moving around in the water. Doubt you'll have any more trouble.
That's true. Okay, you're on.
Okay, but how about first one to that rock wins? Ready? Yuna nods. At my signal, we push off. It's neck and neck at the start, but as the race continues, she's able to gain a little more distance. And it's a close race, but Yuna ends up reaching the rock first. Looks like you've still got it. She smiles as she catches her breath.
It was a close race.
She glances at the sky overhead.
It's getting dark. Maybe we should head back.
Yeah, I'll get Sho and Mayu.
Okay, I'll tell Valerie and Cowdy.
I nod and we swim back to shore. As I search the beach, I find Xiao and Mayu sitting on a cliff rock, their feet dangling in the water. Leave 'em be. They're leaning into each other, watching the sunset. I don't want to disturb their moment, so I slip away before I'm noticed. The girls give me questioning looks as I return.
Did you find them?
Yes, but they seem to be in the middle of something. Didn't want to interrupt them. Valerie smirks.
I bet you just wanted to watch.
What?
I mean, you were gone for a while.
Out on the beach? That's quite daring.
Yuna seems thoughtful, but has a mischievous glint in her eye. No, they didn't. Valerie and Yuna glance at each other and burst out laughing. My cheeks burn as I realise what I'd just said. I mean, look, nothing was going on. Kaori frowns.
So you did watch?
There was nothing to watch.
Hey guys, what's everyone laughing about?
Xiao and Mayu stand by their towels.
We were just talking about how there was nothing going on.
It's not funny when she has to explain it. Anyway, we should be going. It's getting late. Xiao and Mayu look at each other before shrugging, and they nod at us. We all pack up our belongings and head to the parking lot, where we say our goodbyes and hop in our respective vehicles. Since Nikki said she was leaving with her friends, I kick my bike into gear and drive home. I'm exhausted by the time I get home, and I'm secretly thankful Uncle Kaido's nowhere in sight. All I want to do is take a hot shower and go to bed. Nikki hasn't come home yet either, so the bathroom's all mine. I wash the sand and salt water off my skin and then go to sleep early. Sorry, text message. Give me a sec. That's from 3. Oh, for Pete's sake. Seriously, Mike. Seriously, I'm upgrading my phone. Yeah, which meant I have to get a nano SIM, but God, the palaver I'm having to go through to get one. Pain in the neck. Anyway. My alarm sounds waking me up, and I turn it off and prepare for the day. After a quick breakfast, I drive to school and head to class.
Good morning, everyone. I have some good news. Because so many of you did well on the pop quiz from last week, we're going to have another one.
Wonderful. A chorus of groans circles around the classroom.
I knew you'd all be excited.
Everyone gradually falls silent as the TAs hand out the quiz. I'll breeze through the last one, I'll breeze through this one too. Once the paper lands on my desk, I scribble the correct answers. The material's all stuff I've already learned. After a few minutes, I turn in my completed test to the professor.
Done already? You still have plenty of time if you want to check your work.
Yep, it's been checked. The professor glances skeptically at my paper, then does a double take as he recognizes my name.
Oh, you're the student who got perfect marks on the last quiz.
I nod. He offers me a smile.
Thank you.
Soon everyone has turned in their paper.
Everyone awake now? Good. In today's lesson... Class dismissed.
I gather my things and file out of the classroom with everyone else. Once I'm outside, my legs take me towards the hangar. I need to practice. My chat with Akira last Monday has been on my mind ever since. Our team's been on a really good streak, but are we strong enough to beat Akira's team? Oh, for God's sake. I've already acknowledged that text. Or is that a second one? Yuck. Seriously, they are just terrible. Once I'm outside, my legs take me towards the hangar. I need to practice. My chat with Akira last Monday has been on my mind ever since. I mean, actually, I've already read that line, haven't I? My apologies. I swipe myself into the hangar and shake my head free of those thoughts. We have to beat Onoa Bugeshu first. I pass Aurora on my way to Eagle and hear voices raised in a heated argument. Carrie glances at May, who looks exasperated.
I always have your best interests at heart.
That's not true!
When have I not?
Have you already forgotten about what happened with Ryota?
Mai looks taken aback.
Really?
Really?
You're bringing that up? How was I supposed to know he'd react that way?
You weren't supposed to tell him at all!
Maybe not, but I was trying to help.
Somebody she had a crush on, I'm assuming. Carrie's face contorts in anger.
I was humiliated in front of the entire school! Is that what you call helping?
That's not fair. You know that wasn't my intention. And how Ryota handled the situation. Best friends don't treat each other like that.
I know.
My fault is at Carrie's piercing stare.
Kaori.
Well, none of that would have happened in the first place if you had just kept my secret a secret. It was all your fault.
Mai blinks rapidly.
I can't talk to you when you're like this. You need some time to calm down. Maybe then you'll listen to reason.
Don't you dare!
Mai spins on her heel and walks away, her footsteps echoing behind her.
Hey! Ugh!
Carrie lets out a scream of frustration into her hands, and as she turns around she notices me.
How long have you been there?
I just got here. Not long at all.
What did you hear?
Nothing. Carrie narrows her eyes. Okay, just enough to watch Mai storm off. She continues to stare at me. Okay, and a little about some guy named Ryota, but that's it.
It's rude to eavesdrop.
Sorry, I wasn't trying to. So what was that about anyway?
It was nothing.
Who's Ryota?
Nobody you know.
Does he go here?
No.
So who is he then?
He is none of your business. Besides, you've already heard all about it when you were listening in on a private conversation.
No, that's not... My phone buzzes. Saved by the bell. Well, buzz, I guess. Sorry, better get this. Carrie nods, and she looks just as relieved as I am. I accept the call and work further away from Carrie. Hello?
Hey!
Hi, Yuna.
I hope I didn't catch you at a bad time.
No, actually, this is kind of perfect.
Okay, so your account manager with Dashu reached out to me. He'll be close to campus later today and would like to meet with you.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'm not sure what everyone's schedules look like.
Wait, he wants to meet with just you.
Uh-oh. Am I in trouble? Did I do something wrong?
No, not at all. He has some questions about your gear.
It's about the bloody power core again, isn't it? Why? What's wrong with Eagle?
Nothing. He's impressed by it. He wants to know how your outdated American gear is able to outperform even the newest Japanese models.
Outdated?
Not in a bad way. It's just not new. So, will you meet him?
Yeah, sure.
Great! You can meet him at the cafe after lunch.
Alright, I'll be there. Thanks, Yuna.
No problem.
After saying goodbye, she hangs up. By the time I end the call, Carrie's nowhere in sight. It's probably for the best. Our chat didn't exactly end on a great note. Since I came here to practice, I climb into Eagle and start up a simulated match. After I practiced a few rounds, I shut down the simulators and climb out of Eagle. I can tell my reaction times are improving, and I'm sure with a little more practice, I'll be ready to face Ono Bagisha. Since I have some extra time, how do I want to spend the rest of my afternoon? Okay, my only option is to talk to Mayu. Mayu and I discovered we both share an interest in music. She plays the violin while I play the piano, and after we got talking about music, she promised she'd play for me. True to her word, she did end up playing for me. I jokingly mentioned we should start a band, but she was receptive to the idea, so hey, we decided to go for it. I make my way to the music room. I finally convinced Mayu we should expand the band, and we're holding auditions for our newest member. After Mayu played for me for the first time, she's loosened up a lot, and we've been jamming regularly together. I found a flyer for local musicians, the community sponsoring a talent night for both bands and solo artists, and I know Mayu and I are ready to compete, and after much cajoling I got her to agree to sign up. The only problem is a band is considered to be 3 or more people. Neither of us wants to perform alone, so the only thing left to do is recruit a 3rd member. Mayu's already setting up the music room when I arrive. Hey Mayu. She pauses and smiles when she sees me.
Hi, you made it. I mean, of course you made it, but you're early, which is nice. Not that I think you can't be early to things, but...
Her voice fades and she drops her gaze. I'm a little nervous too. Mayu flashes me an appreciative smile.
I hope we find someone good.
Same here.
There will only be singers auditioning today, right?
Yeah, I think having a vocalist will complement our sound. Mayu nods.
I agree.
I help her move some of the clutter to the corner of the room and set up a long table with chairs in the middle of the room for us to sit. This is the judges' table. Mayu sits at the table while I poke my head out into the hall. First audition, please enter the room. As I return to my seat, a short student with slick black hair walks in. He's changed out of his uniform and his shirt hangs loosely over a small frame. I squint to get a better look and notice his shirt's decorated with all types of footwear. Sandals, flip-flops, etc. This is going to be interesting. Mayu's brow is furrowed and she wears a hesitant smile. She seems just as apprehensive as I am. Hi there, what's your name? The boy wears a goofy grin. Hi, I'm Bill Hang. And what are you going to sing today?
Sea humps.
Mayu and I glance at each other. It was a popular song back when we were kids. I nod. Whenever you're ready. Bill flashes us the lopsided grin, and as he belts out a tune he begins to bounce his knees and stiffly jerk his hips from side to side. He sings in a monotone and his cadence feels almost robotic. Paired with his strange dancing, he reminds me of someone using their limbs for the first time. I glance over at Mayu, who's forced a smile frozen on her face. Her eyes seem almost panicked. Finally he finishes and waits expectantly on our feedback. Well, at least you got spirit. I put on my most comforting smile. Thanks for coming out. Bill continues to stare at me if expecting more. You had great passion in your performance. Bill stares stoically as I give him my feedback, then looks expectantly at Mayu. She fidgets under his gaze as she tries to find something to say.
Well, it was... You were very brave to sing in front of us, and I think it's great that you did.
She nods, seemingly satisfied with her review. I'm about to dismiss him when someone else interrupts me.
Excuse me, but are you in the wrong room? This audition is for singers. I'm not sure what you thought.
They managed to throw in a... I can't remember, did he do American Idol as well as X Factor or the American... Whatever. That prick. Simone Cowell. Yes, okay. Another student sits beside Mayu. He's wearing an ace uniform without teal stripes, so he isn't a pilot. Mayu merely glances over at the student, but otherwise doesn't react to his presence. Maybe he's one of her music friends. She must have asked him to sit in on our auditions, help us judge who'd be a good fit. Despite the new guy's scathing comments, Bill doesn't seem fazed.
I did my very best, and that's all I could have done. I have no professional training, but I am very glad of my performance.
Okay, I'm just going to move on from that particular voice, because that sounded like a guy doing a very stereotypical accent. Mayu smiles encouragingly.
That's great. Thank you for coming by.
Yeah, thanks. We'll be in touch. Mayu's friend crosses his arms and waits for Bill to leave. Once Bill leaves, he's immediately replaced by another student. He's still in ace uniform, but contrastingly, his long dark hair falls to a mid-back, and it covers one eye.
Hi, my name is Slasher, and I'll be singing an original song I wrote myself.
Your name is Slasher?
Hi.
He cuts Mayu off in the middle of her greeting, and screams in a hoarse voice. Yup. Oh god. I scream over Slasher before my ears literally begin to bleed. Thank you! I think we've heard enough. Mayu's eyes are wider than I've ever seen, and she flinches every time Slasher belts out a word.
Thanks. If you could please stop for a second.
Her friend clamps his hands over his ears and cringes in pain.
Stop, for the sake of our sanity.
You could tell that guy was recorded separately from everybody else. Slasher finally quiets down but looks confused.
Are you trying to turn us all into raving psychopaths? Because the only effect constant yelling has on me is making me angry.
What? I haven't even gotten to the killing part yet. Here,
Oh god.
listen.
Oh, I love metal. Especially when the guy's singing it really don't care. Mayu and I shout simultaneously. No! Slasher pauses again. Mayu's friend looks like he's about to speak again, but we silence him with death glares. Ah, that's energetic. Look, that's a very rowdy song, and I really liked your energy. In response, Slasher opens his mouth ready to belt out another line. Mayu immediately stops him.
Wait! Your song is definitely very original. But it's not quite the direction we're going for this band.
Whatever. You guys can't even begin to comprehend my genius.
Slasher turns on his heel and walks out the room. I breathe a sigh of relief, but brace myself for the next audition. A girl walks in, and she's wearing ace uniform and has her dark hair pulled up into a messy ponytail. She seems normal so far, but, well, I don't exactly want to get my hopes up. Hello? She smiles warmly and waves.
Hi, my name is Mitsuki.
Mayu seems hopeful.
Feel free to begin whenever you're ready.
Mitsuki nods and takes a deep breath, and her voice shakes as she sings a soft melody, but grows in power as she gains confidence. Mayu and I blink at each other. She's actually good. I close my eyes and find myself getting lost in Mitsuki's voice, and before long her song is done. She waits nervously for our feedback. Mayu stands to her feet and suddenly her chair wobbles.
You were wonderful! You have a powerful voice which would perfectly complement our instruments and the emotion behind your song. I could feel what you were singing!
Mitsuki blushes at Mayu's praise.
Thank you.
Pretty much what she said. I couldn't agree more with what Mayu said. That was a beautiful performance. Mitsuki breaks into a wide smile, and the random guy raises a hand.
Excuse me, but what was that?
Mitsuki blinks, obviously confused, and I'm not sure what this guy is talking about either.
This good shy girl act is so played out. Where's the confidence, the fire, and for God's sake, have you ever heard of a cold?
Mitsuki runs her hands through her hair.
I'm sorry. My last class was physical education, and I was running a little late.
I lean close to Mayu. What's with your friend? He's kind of a jerk.
Wait, I thought he was your friend!
We stare at each other for a second, and then focus our attentions on the mystery guy. Hey? He glances over at us. Who are you?
Excuse me?
He pulls a face of disgust.
How dare you? Don't you know who I am?
No. Mayu shakes her head. The guy scoffs.
Clearly, I have made a terrible mistake. You peasants wouldn't know greatness if it bit you in the ass.
Sorry, if you're actually going for a parody British accent, he really should have said arse. Spelled A-R-S-E. With a loud sniff of disdain, he swaggerliciously exits the classroom. Awkward.
So, did I pass?
Yeah, this entire sequence was an excuse for the Simon Cowell parody, wasn't it? Yes, we'd love for you to join the band.
Really?
Yes, absolutely! We have your information, so we'll let you know when our next practice will be, and hopefully we'll see you there.
Thank you.
Yes, I'll be there. Okay, thank you again.
Grinning from ear to ear, Mitsuki practically skips out of the room.
Is it strange that I feel kind of nervous?
How come?
I don't know. I'm really excited! I'm already getting ideas for new pieces that will incorporate her voice. So, I don't know why I'm so nervous.
It's probably because of how bad those previous auditions were. You're hoping the good one isn't a fluke.
Maybe.
She smiles at me.
We should probably clean up. I think our reserved time is running out.
After only 3 songs, really. After Mayo and I clean up the music room, we part ways so she can go to class. I can't wait to see what kind of music the 3 of us will create together. I make my way towards the cafe to meet with the account manager from Dashu. Right, that is an excellent point to end this part, so I will say thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next.